What's up, guys? This is your boy Omega Pro. You already know. And I got some Pokemon Black for you guys. This is my first Wi-Fi battle. I hope you guys enjoy this. I went on the Smogon Battle Finder on Smogon.com and I ran into this guy. This is just some OU stuff, pretty standard stuff. You know, we're both using pretty standard teams. I got my Metagross as my lead. He's leading off with his Whimsicott. And looking at his team, it's pretty much standard. You pretty much see this stuff from anybody's team. But I lead with my Metagross because I'm pretty confident that nothing he has is going to be able to affect me that badly. So he leads off with his Whimsicott. I go off with my Metagross here. And of course, predicting him to not be able to do anything to me, I go for the Stealth Rock while he goes for his Substitute. Now, when he substitutes, my initial thought is, okay, no big deal, what's the worst that can happen? He goes for Elite Sleep, and right off the bat, I'm like, okay, this could be a predicament that I got myself in. So I go for the EQ, because I'm a dumbass. It's not very effective, as you can see. His sub is still standing, so I basically just wasted a turn and let him get his Leech Seed for no reason. So now, I believe I switch out. Yeah, I switch out here and go into my Infernape, because, you know, obvious type advantage. He goes for another Leech Seed, predicting that very nicely. I gotta give him that play. That was a good prediction on his part. But nevertheless, I go for my Overheat as he goes for his Taunt. I'm assuming he was predicting that I would be a Nasty Plot set, but I'm not. I'm just a mixed attacker with Life Orb, I think. I'm not entirely sure. But I go for the Overheat and take out that sub. And my special attack falls, and yep, there you go. Life Orb damage right there. And I go for my Mach Punch, one, because as we saw last turn, he is faster than me. Wait, was it last turn? I'm not sure, but I don't want to take any chance that he'll be faster than me. And two, I did not want to go for the Overheat because I was afraid it wasn't going to be able to OHKO because I had that special attack drop. See, the way this Infernape is set up is it's physical, but it has that one Overheat. So I go into my Jirachi, and he goes for the Encore, predicting me to go for like another Mach Punch or a fighting type move that would be able to stall me. He predicts that I have a Fire Punch on my Jirachi and switches out to his Chansey. This Chansey has been a bitch like this whole match. You're gonna see that how much of a bitch this Chansey was. If I can form my words correctly. He goes for a Thunder Wave on my Jirachi, but I switch out to my Infernape because it's already weak. What's the worst that can happen? And predicting my fighting type move, he goes into his Gliscor. Me predicting that, I go into an Overheat, but I wasn't predicting the Gliscor. I was predicting whatever he could come into would generally not want to take an Overheat. So that was some good prediction on my part. He gets his Toxic Orb, and obviously he gets healed because of his Toxic Heal. He goes for his Stealth Rock, predicting me to switch. Good move right there, because obviously Gliscors these days tend to carry Earthquake. So I go into the Cerberus or Hydreigon, and he switches out, fearing any type of move that I would do. And I predict him to go into his Chansey, so I use my Focus Blast. Now, that does not as much damage as I would have liked. I believe this Cerberus is a special, or is it physical? I can't really remember off the top of my head, but I go for the Draco because I figured with how physically defensive this thing is, its special defense must not be too high, but I was wrong because I thought I'd be able to KO it from that range. But I switch out because now my Hydreigon's pretty much useless, and I go into my Infernape. He goes for another Thunder Wave. Obviously, I'm already paralyzed, not going to do much. He goes for a Soft Boiled just so he can have full health before he switches out. But I go for my Close Combat, and I get paralyzed. But I go for a Mach Punch here just in case. I didn't want to take any chances just in case he did decide to stay in. You know, Mach Punch would be a better move to use, because if he switched out to something that resists that and I use a Close Combat, then my defense and special defense would be abysmal. So he goes for a Seismic Toss, takes me out easy. I go for my Reuniclus because this thing will wall this Chansey all goddamn day. It has Recover, Calm Mind, and I forgot the other two moves. I can't believe I'm blanking on this. I think one of them is Focus Blast, and the other one might be Psychic. I'm not entirely sure, but as you can see here, I go for the Focus Blast, and he switches out to his Whimsicott, predicting something like that. Once you see a Reuniclus go for a Calm Mind, it's basically not a good decision to stay in there. But this Reuniclus is a fucking tank. If it wasn't for a stupid decision you guys will see later on, then I would have swept his whole entire team with this. I'm pretty confident. So he goes for his Gliscor here, and this thing is pretty much finished. He goes for his Fling, and he poisons me with his Toxic Orb. And that was an okay play, I guess. I don't really know. I would have predicted him to go for an attack instead of doing that. But whatever, better for me because that's not inflicting damage to me. So it's whatever. He goes into his Dragonite, and I was scared of this thing because I'm like, oh no, this thing is going to be the bane of my existence. So he goes for his Dragon Dance, and I go for my Psychic. And luckily for me, unfortunately for him, it was a crit. This match would have been completely different if his Dragonite was still alive throughout this entire match. I would have lost hands down. That Dragonite would have just gone to town. It would have been faster than my Hydreigon, so my Hydreigon wouldn't have been able to do anything, and nothing on this team has Ice Move, so I would have been royally fucked. So I go for my Focus Blast on this Chansey because I already have the Calm Mind, so that's good and, you know, super effective. Why not? But even with the critical, it still does not do as much as I initially thought it would. So he goes for a Soft Boiled, obviously just healing off what I had just done and some. So I go for another Calm Mind just to set up on this thing, because this thing will not do anything to me. There's nothing. He can't Thunder Wave me because he flung his Toxic Orb at me earlier, so I'm already poisoned. So there's nothing he can do to me at this point. So I go for a Focus Blast on his Scizor, and I really don't want to lose my Calm Minds at this point, because I have 2 Calm Minds. I'm in a good position to sweep his entire team, so I stay in like a dumbass. He Bug Bites, obvious Oko right there. If I would have just switched out, this would have been so much different, but whatever. I go back into my Jirachi to wall this thing, because it's most likely choice what's Bug Bite going to do to me. So he goes out into his, I can't believe I'm forgetting this thing's name now. Conkeldurr, there you go. And I go for the Fire Punch and get the burn. Kind of bad for him, because as you guys know, this is a physical Pokemon. So with that in mind, with the burn taking away some of his physical power, I was assuming I would be able to go into my Metagross because it is pretty bulky to take whatever he had, but it still gets a lot of damage. So I'm just like, Metagross, there's nothing I can do to save you. You've done what you came here to do, so goodbye. I had to let my Metagross go, but I go into my Jellicent because I figured he was locked in to his move, but it turns out he's not choice. So he goes for a Payback, super effective. But thank God, the one time this thing actually worked, Clear Body disabled his Payback, so that's great for me. I know he's not going to want to switch in because there's nothing he can do. He probably has fighting type moves that aren't going to hurt me because I'm Ghost. They're just going to go right through me. So I don't know what he's going to do. He goes into his Chansey, so I just go for the Recover on the switch because I know he's going to switch. He's definitely not going to want to stay in. So I get the Recover. I'm pretty much full health at this point, and I'm not going to want to stay on this thing because he goes for his Thunder Wave, and then I'm like, great, he's basically hindering my my Jellicent. So I go for the Will-O-Wisp before I switch out just to get residual damage on this thing every turn consistently. So he switches out and goes into his Scizor. Wait, do I switch out? I think I do. Do I? No, I don't. I go for the Taunt so he can't Soft Boiled anymore. I don't know why I didn't switch. Okay, now I switch. There you go. That makes more sense. So I go into my Hydreigon, and he goes for his Bug Bite because that would have done significant damage to my Jellicent, and it still is significant damage to my Hydreigon, which sucked for me. He was telling me in the chat, he was like, oh, that was pure luck, and I was like, whatever, good move. I go into my Rockshi. I know I can outspeed, and a Fire Punch, anything at this point really would take it out. So I'm really fearing his Chansey because my one chance to take it out, which was with my Reuniclus, is now gone. So I decide I'm going to try to Iron Head, flinch hacks this thing to death. So I Iron Head the Conkeldurr, and I get the flinch, and then next turn I kill it off. So now comes this Chansey, this fucking big ass threat, and basically he disconnects because there was no way he was gonna win. I had some Pokemon left over. There was nothing he could have done, but whatever. It was a good game. I really enjoyed this game. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like rating. If you did not, send me death threats, as I always appreciate those. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and goodbye.